here. Stay strong at the top. They didn't like being second fiddle. And this time around, they will have their retribution. Vampire having already fallen means that top spot will go the way of Alpha 7 no matter the outcome of this fight. But that chicken dinner is worth $10,000 with a nade over towards action. It brings them 3v3.
Evening things out, but Riva will have to leave this high ground, and Pika steps just shy of the Molotov. Will move back out again. That nade goes off the side, does a little bit of damage, but it's not quite enough. The smokes are absolutely everywhere. This kind of warfare is just blind shooting.
Ooh, Revo caught on the drop there. A beautiful spray from top around the side. Not going to get the flush. Not just yet. Mythic is there for the res if it's there. And Carrillo sprays through the window, but he can't make it work. Top needs to find more, but finally he's taken down. It's just Mythic. 1 versus 2 for Alpha 7 to take home the chicken dinner in this Vikendi match. But the spray from the back is just too much. It is stalwart.
Unable to take home that 10K, but the points they put up there will see them very steady, looking at that 60K in first place. They are now fairly ahead of Vampire Esports. Again, even off the back of 4 wins in a row, Alpha 7 still make up the difference. And it's getting very, very difficult. 3 more matches to go now, John, for Vampire Esports to try and get a lead, but I don't know where they're going to find it.
It's going to be so close. Those 2 games with Alpha 7 not performing in the first 2 games of the day leave such a great question to be answered in these last games as we find these final moments. Vampire, again, in the conversation to be tournament champs.
Yeah, it is ridiculous at the moment. Winner chicken dinner coming through, 1,800 damage here on Vikendi. I mean, they were really putting in the work, John.
They absolutely were. What a performance from Stalwart Esports. They absolutely took that fight in their stride, top on the inside of that building. What a way to close it out for them. Finding that last frag as well. Beautiful stuff. What coordination. But Alpha 7, they take that top spot back under their control.
عايز تترجم راب؟ تعالى لي. ملوك الصين دي انا ملخصها في سطور، بس مين يقرا؟ فاهم؟ كلام الشارع ده انا هرسه. هرسه كل المجال حبايبي. بروز.
وانا كاكازوكو مصدع القي نظره لو على الحلاوه عندي كاستر والاسم.
عفرت يا عفرت، هتفضل معفرتها ولا ايه يا برو؟
انت مين يا هو ازاي ده دخل هنا يا جدعان؟
نكسر الدنيا الاول وبعدين نتكلم، نعيد من الاول.
لا 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 مش مسجل.
اخواتي
عشان فاهمين السين، سبوتيفاي عمل لك بلاي ليست الاقوى راب مصري، اسمع ملوك السين ببلاش.
Okay, welcome back everyone to PMWI, the Afterparty Showdown. As unfortunate, the Vampire Esports streak has been stopped. They've been put back in their coffins to rest, at least for one match. Discap on your host here. You got to break things down, gentlemen, as we have seen Stalwart Esports finally pick themselves up a win.
Yeah, it was good to see finally able to get himself a good finish there. Playing with the DBS, it was actually Scribe that did a lot in that finishing fight. So a little shimmy over there. But yeah, it was very interesting to see coming out from Stalwart at the end of the day. But the circle, they didn't move too much in the late game, right? And they just were making sure a lot of teams could not enter from the southern side, and then it was pretty much done and dusted.
Yeah, the game kind of came to them. Of course, they did have a lot of threats looming as the circles came their way, of course. Not last but not least, of course, Vampires was there to try and deal with them. But it wasn't enough. Stalwart showing why they can hold down locations. It got a little bit sketchy. I was kind of concerned that maybe Pika moved too early to that east, I guess, northern flank up against Alpha 7, because they're really coming back into the fight now here for this Vikendi. But it was enough as they shut them down.
Yeah, though we are seeing Alpha 7 actually get himself a few points, and we're seeing Vampire a little bit lower. So there's still that current fight for the first place between those two squads that is unfolding. But at the end of the day, a lot of the top teams that have already shown themselves consistently on top of this tournament are here once again. So there's some consistency.
Yeah, shown themselves. Very good.
Yeah, well, it was a very awkward fight and very funny fight, actually. I really enjoyed it between Vampire, STE, and then S2G actually potentially came to be the saviors of Vampire Esports. If we thought about it.
They mollied themselves.
Oh, we don't talk about that, Molly. I thought vampires were immune to fire. No, maybe not immune to fire.
No, they hate fire.
They hate fire.
They actually hate fire.
You know who also hates fire?
John Allen?
That's not where I was going with it.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure he hates fire as well.
Probably, yeah.
Take a look
I don't know
at
where you were going. So I was like, oh, I'll revert back to an old meme.
What was your answer you were going with?
I didn't know where I was going with that. That's the problem. So I'm glad someone broke the silence.
I've saved you. I've saved you. Thank you. It's fine.
Yeah. If that's
Here
exactly.
it is.
There's the volley that we're talking about. Alpha 7.
Himself.
Keep in mind, Alpha 7 were 1 point behind Vampire Esports, and with them getting, was it the 11 eliminations, super important game for them to show up, considering that lead was slipping away. They already had a 30-point plus lead. Like going into day 2, even into day 3, they were still around that marker. So now they're like, all right, well, you put the ball in our court, Vampire Esports. Well, here, have the ball back.
I think especially the moment they saw the Vampire was eliminated, they knew this is our time to get back into the league, create a little bit of a buffer for ourselves, because they didn't have a great start of the day. The 2 first games are a little bit invisible, so at least they are present a little bit more. But Vampire, there's still a chance they're going to come back swinging. So I think it's going to come down to the last game to see who between those 2 teams will be taking the trophy at the end.
No, definitely. I could only agree.
Okay, well, what about our match rewards? Let's see how much money the teams were able to secure, at least the rewards in particular for some of these teams. Because, again, that is what it's about, the money on the line. And 7C, all right. They're getting on the board here. Don't worry, we'll see some 7 in a little bit, but 7C getting some 4,000 bucks.
They got the first elimination and got the special elimination with good nades and stuff like that, but they did lose that engagement towards the end. Falcon just squeaking that one out, being able to survive it all with 2 alive, but of course it leaves you a little bit wounded towards the later stages. And Alpha 7 fighting back.
If they got the win there, that could have been a 22k game right there for them. They would have been almost at the 100k margin, but you know what? Still getting himself 12k in this game alone. Alpha 7, they're still here. They don't want to be overtaken by the other team. So, I mean, Alpha 7 are here to play. And as you already said many times, Jason, they came in prepared, and really the preparation they've made before the event is really paying off.
Yeah, it's such an awesome battle, though, between these 2 teams, going head-to-head. I mean,
back and forth.
Obviously, it could have been all right, Alpha 7 just struggled. They get in their own heads, and their mentality is completely broken. But for them to bounce back and then pretty much just say to Vampire Esports, we're not going to go quietly here. We're going to still fight for the number 1 position. I think we're seeing probably one of the sickest rivalries we could potentially have developed now in the rest of 2022.
Oh, yeah. Alpha 7's clearly proficient at Vikendi as well. If you think about them getting the win that they got, I think it was day 1 on Vikendi, correct?
Day 1. It was won by Vampire yesterday, actually.
Yeah, and then Vampire, and now Alpha 7 almost being able to eke out against Stalwart. But again, I've said a billion times on these desks over the last 2 weekends that Stalwart's an excellent team. So it's no kind of disrespect to them for losing out against Stalwart that were playing this compound and defending it for so long. So they were very warmed up early in this game about the angles that they needed to defend, especially when Alpha 7 had kind of gone for that sweep around. And then they once again, okay, these were the angles that were potentially giving us a little bit of problems earlier in this game. These are the angles that were benefiting us in this game. So they approached it very nicely.
And you were talking about it during that game also. They did leave one building of their compound open, and I think actually it was maybe not that bad of an idea, because that building there in particular is very easy to nade. If you want one team to crash there, you know exactly what 2 spots to nade in particular. So if that was the game plan, you know you can easily at least eliminate 2-3 players, which is what they did there versus Vampire.
And also, on reflection, to be like, was it the right thing to leave it open? If you do commit one to that, then you're a little bit too spread across that compound.
It's hard to get back.
So I'm kind of, I was questioning myself there, and I think that's probably the best play.
Okay. Well, when we look at overalls, which obviously is extremely important when it comes to points, but what about when it comes to money earned so far within this event? Alpha 7, I imagine, should be first. Actually, okay. Well, that was from, I guess, this match. No, that's completely wrong. So we'll just ignore that. We're not going to look at this anymore because it doesn't matter. But we did talk about how Alpha 7 approached that 100K mark. Vampire Esports were around 80 to 90K last time we checked in with them. So we're having some teams approach or already surpassed the amount of money you can win for just being first place alone.
Yeah, exactly. There's what, like 414K total, plus the Chicken Diddy's got like an extra 118K, 180K, should I say. So like, they might be able to actually get close to half of that money in particular coming their way, which is insane between two teams. So
I mean,
it
Vampire,
could happen.
They're close to $750,000 from 2 weeks alone.
I think that's one of the highest earnings in like one tournament alone, PUBG Mobile Esports. Like, they're catching up. I think the top winning out of PUBG Mobile Esports as a whole is Nova, was like 5 million total. Like, they're getting close to $1 million here with this event alone.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Crazy indeed. Okay, well, so looking obviously into our next match of the day, we do have Karakin coming up next. I'm curious if you guys have... Okay, no, we're actually going to go to the match rankings, reward rankings for this one. But look at this, only 1,000 difference between these two teams, our top two teams.
Jeez. I mean, we already saw, you were expected potentially Alpha 7 to break that 100K mark. I have a question for you, I suppose, then, Max. Did you expect maybe Vampire to do it? Because I didn't expect them to get to 100K, but it's very feasible now.
It is definitely like, how many matches do we have left now? Like 3 currently remaining. So, okay, even Avengers Tech, three are remaining. So, very doable for both teams to reach that one. Of course, you need to get some good games in these 3 last
Never mind
matches,
the standings money.
Exactly. Like, definitely, you're aiming for that one. And on top of it, you've got that battle for 60K for the first place. But that's clearly not the goal here. Here's to get as much money in these games. And so far, these two teams are dominating.
Well, S2G, I find it interesting. 60. Wow, it's taking a second to think, letting the room breathe.
That's fine.
There's no rush. We got
Max
5.5
judging
minutes.
you. I was fully on board with you.
Yeah.
I think one thing that stands out for me as well.
Bigatron.
No. I think one thing that stands out for me as well is the fact that Star Wars, this is their first win here, technically, when it comes to the Afterparty Showdown. So I expected this to come in a bit earlier, if I'm totally honest, given their credentials. But it's nice to have it on the board now. 41K, not bad at all.
Important for 7C. I believe they're bottom of the table when it comes to our overalls in points, but they're 9th place when it comes to money. And that just shows, again, it doesn't really matter necessarily about where you place in the matches. There's all of those rewards you can get within that match, which amounts to, well, technically 33,000 every single match. So great job by them to build a little bit of extra money. Again, it's not quite Claris's day rate, but, we'll get there. But you know what they can do with that money? You know what they can do with that money, Claris?
What can they do with that money, Joyce?
Easily buy themselves a Sony Xperia 1.4, which is actually made in collaboration with professional esports players. You can actually see it here on our desk. We cut back to that. It's also the official smartphone partner here at PUBG Mobile Esports. So great to have them on board here, and great to have all the players as well showing what they can do on these devices. Here you go, right here. Oh. Remember, they have security tags on these. So
the phone is so good, the security is really tight. So I tried every single day. Yeah,
what you guys can't see is actually on the other side of the cameras, we do have 7 giant bodyguards staring us down.
It's 3 snipers.
And then we have a John Allen off to the side.
Yeah, and 7.
Yeah, but I mean, can't really. So it's like 7.
It won't stop us.
And then the bodyguards.
Yeah.
Just reach over. Just let.
Okay, so gentlemen, let's take a look at overalls when it comes to points then, right? We saw Vampire Esports were 1 point ahead of Alpha 7. Where do these teams currently stand now, though, after that last result? And it's a 12-point difference. It is still Vampire Esports in striking range to take that lead back.
But the fight back is definitely real for Alpha 7, and it's great to see, considering that I think that after we'd seen the beginning of today, we were all very much on the Vampire hype train. It's definitely true. Alpha 7, though, good fight back, and they've not looked bad when it comes to the next 3 maps that are coming up as well. So, yeah, the fight will definitely continue.
Yeah, exactly. The main issue is going to be for one of these two teams. If one performs and the other doesn't, that's when a real buffer is going to start to be created in these last 3 matches. And the question is, do you still have time to make up for that little bit of a deficit if you fall back? You don't have a lot of time, only 3 matches, as you said there, James. So it's down to the wire for these two teams.
That's right, Max.
S2G on 61K. Bigatron, I want to say this, and I know almost every single event I ever work with Bigatron at the event, I generally have always been saying they've been underwhelming. But I think it's the only reason I really say that is because I think back to 2 years ago, or a year and a half, 2 years ago, when they were the most dominating team in PUBG Mobile esports.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a rebuilding phase. I mean, there's obviously a lot of speculation around. They've had roster swaps constantly. I would love to see them, pop off yet again, potentially get into PMGC and restore the greatness that is the name BTR.
It's very difficult to stay at the top in any esport, never mind PUBG Mobile, where the competition is hyper competitive as a whole.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're at the top, one, you always have a target on your back, which Biggitron Red Aliens did have for a long, long, long time. And two, you need to keep innovating. And in a game that's slowly getting more and more and more figured out, of course there's changes here and there and stuff like that, that then also becomes more difficult as the rest of the world catches up around you. So it's difficult to stay at the top.
And I think it's clear to say also when you're looking at BTR, right, they're already set for life when it comes to their past esports career, when it comes to their content
Well,
creation
Luxy and Zuxy are set for life.
Exactly, they're set for life, right? But the fact that it's still present says to me at least that there's still something they wish to achieve. They want to be back to their glory days. So I don't think we're going to be seeing a...
I'd like to see it.
I think we'll see BTR back to their glory days eventually. It just takes time with these roster changes to get to that point.
I mean, they are the OGs of PUBG Mobile Esports if you think about it. Like
Basically,
them, Scout. Thing is, we have so many new players come into the scene that can compete against these old guards and surpass them when it comes to skill. It's fantastic to see them be able to stick around at the top level for so long, to be completely fair. But as we can see, we have 1 minute and 20 left until we do hop into Karrakin here. We're going to have to bring in new commentators. But before then, we remind you guys about MasterCard and Saudi Investment Bank, making sure this event is possible. If you guys haven't tuned in the last 6 weeks, well, where have you guys been? At least you tuned in now here for the best title of the event with PUBG Mobile. Also, if you guys at home, make sure to be taking screenshots of your favorite PMWI moments. And you can post them up with the hashtag PMWI Best Shot. And you guys can win a cool PUBG Mobile statue, though it is not John Allen, unfortunately. Also, we still have a survey going on for you guys to make sure to check out in chat, also through Tencent social medias, and let us know about what you like, dislike about the show. All the information is going to be there. So thank you guys so much in advance for filling that out. 40 seconds to go, though, as we do have Alpha 7 striking back at Vampire Esports now. The ball's in their court to see if they can take that lead back. But we got to throw it over to our commentators, which have been low-key fire so far in this event. 7 Worlds Gaming and Avenger.
We definitely have it. I mean, with Biggitron, they were talking about it. That's a team that has been, maybe they haven't been at the top, right? But they have been consistent for the past 3 years. And I think what Jason was hinting at is when they were really dominant back in Malaysia almost 3 years ago, that team was just winning. I was actually getting a chance earlier to talk about that with Zuxy, saying how long they've been doing this and how they still want to continue to do this. So, honestly, I think the team might be just, it might just not be their style with the current settings that we might have.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I really love, what we've been seeing, because we've been seeing them consistently at these events, right? And that's the most important thing, is that they're here and they're able to compete with the teams in the very top. Not winning as much as they used to,
yep.
But let's see how they're going to fare against everyone else here. It is, as you see, and as you've been seeing on the leaderboard, it's extremely close in our middle pack. We have 2 teams that have been absolutely dominating the Afterparty Showdown so far, Alpha 7 and Vampire Esports. And we're going to jumping into the most action-packed map of them all, Karrakin, one of your favorite ones. And the question is, where do all the team drops?
And we have been seeing some crazy hot drops in here too, and we have been seeing some even crazier third parties with those teams going to Al-Habar, and then they even end up going a little bit more to the south. But the things that you have to worry is that when you're having to rotate out of those urban areas, there's teams that are just going to be set up, especially with the rage lines that Karrakin is able to provide. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I think Vampire Esports actually ended up having a great performance in one of the Karrakins that we have played. And guess what? In regards to top players, no surprise there to see Revo and Carrillo, 32, 26 apiece, and now we're starting to see some of the Vampire Esports players coming in.
It's crazy that they've been able to maintain as much as they have, but that's also why they are still on top in terms of match rewards. They have been getting so many eliminations, and now another standoff with Falcon and Rad. Munir goes down to Powerful. Can they turn it around, or is Falcon's taking this one home early on? Saw many fights on Karrakin so far in the Afterparty Showdown.
Yeah, and even though we do have the battle there at the top for first place, keep in mind we are still going to have those match rewards that all of these teams are going to be trying to get. First elimination is going to be 2K. Who's going to be able to get it here between Rod and Team Falcons? Team Falcons, if I'm not mistaken, they have gotten some of those match rewards in the past. And they get it here as well. I know the crowd is going to love it, and here goes the push from Team Falcon Powerful. Able to spot a player there from Rod. He's going to be the push.
Oh. That was close. Really
that
nice
was very
drop.
close. a lot of damage too.
Trying to reload. Kaito's really low. Just done 30 HP currently. Powerful. Reloading with a really good advantage on that corner. Can he push and make something happen here? DPS in hand from Munir though. Really good push from Powerful. Takes one down. Kaito really low. He has an idea where he is. He's going to push him.
There was a bit of a disconnection there from Team Rod. I think they were trying to bait him out, and ultimately they ended up losing those players. And guess what? It is going to actually be Deadeyes that ends up getting the first elimination. Team Falcon took a little bit too long, and now they're going to have to worry because Deadeyes is going to be making a push here towards them. This is what I was talking. The third parties in this map are just insane. And then while we're at it, 7Cs is also making their way up to Rule Love. And as I say, 7Cs being able to knock one of the players there from Falcons. Deadeyes, Sharice getting knocked. Can't use it, clutch it up. We have seen him being able to clutch it up before for his team. He's able to spot one of the players there from 7Cs, backs them up a little bit.
Crazy to see that. Let's see Deadeye guys here. Oh, Sarang goes down. Yusuf also gone down, and that is Team Falcons out in 12th place. 7C actually managed to get that team elimination there. That's really good to see here. So.
And that's what Jason was talking about earlier. Even though the team is currently last in the standings, they are definitely not last when it comes to the prize pool. This team has been able to collect so much of those match rewards, which, I mean, it's great to see, but I am hoping that somehow they can pull it off and at least climb up the leaderboard a little bit. It's going to be impossible for them to get all the way to the top, but at least, you know, save some face. And by the way, for everybody watching, make sure you watch PMWI together in-game sports center with your friends to win PMWI special sets. And don't forget the PMWI packages are on sale for a limited time, and you can also win PMWI treasure crates if you play PUBG Mobile during PMWI.
Black Zone starts again here. Some of the teams might have to move out of it. Let's see what happens with this fight, though. Deadeyes, guys, at 7C has not expected his Turlov here with the Saiga comes out. Surprise! There's no helmet and only with one helmet, so level one vest, no helmet at all for him.
Got the players there from Deadeyes actually trying to rotate some of the C4s that are going to be coming out in that rotation there. But Deadeyes, guys, is going to be working perfect as they're able to catch 7Cs by surprise. Now it's only going to be just one player standing from 7Cs. They have gotten some match rewards. Look at that, sir. Just being able to lock into people. It doesn't matter who it is. Rod losing another player. They were trying to be sneaky. They were trying to third-party that fight. It ended up backfiring for them, and now it's only Saran from 7Cs being alive, and Deadeyes, you best believe they're going to be hunting him down.
Super impressive there by Shifu, being able to do that. Oh, it's just crazy. Turlov now. The Deadeyes guys are pushing, trying to finish off 7C. It is one more elimination that would give them another full team vibe in that case. That would be huge for them. Also, Desha in the distance, kind of disengaged from that fight. Sarang trying to move around, really hunting him. There's a point here. Turlov leading the charge.
See all the players right there. Sarang trying to save at least some points, trying to see if he can maybe go for some other type of match reward, which is going to be really hard because he's going to be cornered right now. You can see him pushing one of the players from Deadeyes. He's going to be able to knock one. Can he reload in time and knock some of the other ones? He is able to knock another one. Can he get the third one? He might be possible to clutch up the 1v3. And he is able to clutch up the 1v3. 7C Sarang adding that to the highlight clip.
I cannot believe he managed to clutch a 1 versus 3 situation like that. And remember, they got another team vibe, so they have 2 already. That is huge for 7C. And also managing to get the first one here. Bigatron replay for that case. Nice push and bait there for Genfos. Great play from him. Now we have Damonkia on screen with the Alpha 7 in the distance now. AR8 is pushing Rat, and Rat Desha here is going to be taken down in 10th place. And that is R8 putting a team elimination on their board, but only 1 elim point for them. Bigatron now here with the somewhat standoff for S2G. Silas there, you can see him silently jumping in the distance, trying to get back to Hamsi.
Bigatron continuing to change the roster. You can see actually Lex is not there. This is going to be huge for Vampire Esports if they do end up losing a player this early on. Luckily for him, he was able to find a rock and just...
Why did they go for that? Is it because they saw the fight with S2G and Bigatron, I assume, and they wanted to third-party it? Bigatron was just 4 guys strong, so it kind of turned around for them. They have to use some smokes. In this case, is stoned out in the water.
This could be really bad for Vampire Esports. They have already actually lost one player. Are they going to end up losing another player? Sarang does end up getting eliminated, but keep in mind, you said it earlier, 7Cs did end up eliminating at least 2 teams. Can anybody else catch up to them? If not, it will be another 5K for 7Cs, and I mean, that's not bad at all. 10K for being eliminated so early on. I would be happy with that. And talking about it, Vampire Esports does end up getting one of the players knocked. Bigatron currently trying to figure out how they're going to make the push here for Vampire Esports. There's only 2 Vampire Esports players alive. And if Vampire Esports got eliminated right now, that would be huge for the standings, Avenger.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see how far they can take this one.
Well, we're seeing this fight, actually. One of the players from Alpha 7 just got knocked, and I think he's going to end up getting eliminated by Damwon Kia.
That's not what we want to see. Information is coming out from Strips' high ground position here, but the case of Bigatron potentially trying to push. And you see Misery here. Well, 1 helmet, 2 vest is pushing aggressively on Strips' location. Now we see Sarang with that 1 versus 3 again, super well executed. Even with a DPS and Saiga push, Deadeye's guys could simply not withstand the power of Sarang and his well-timed movements there. Now back to Misery. What can he get out of this push? Can he maybe surprise Shreps in this situation? Rest of the Bigatron guys also pushing in. Liquid, Genfos coming into this location. Sox in the back. Scar in hand, UMP, and MP5. So some more short-range shots are coming in now. G36 for Shreps. He found them now. He knows he has to disengage from that location.
And I think Bigatron is going to get caught by surprise with that damage that the Vampire Esports player was able to cause. Slow down a little bit, and they need to be careful because Fluke might be able to get an angle here on them. He does have a 3-time on that M4, and we know how deadly the M4 can be. He's going to aim down. Can he knock anybody? He took too long to cause any type of damage, and I think that might have been the best choice. That way he can try to make it to his other teammate. I was
a lot of support for R8. You could hear in the stadium. It's crazy. Wants to get some of those knocks and eliminations there. You can definitely hear the crowd going crazy for them and clapping.
Yeah, I was going to mention with the 7C Esports, I know they've been already eliminated. I wish this is why they would be a little bit more aggressive. We have seen at least 2 of their players being able to clutch up big plays. I wish they were just a little bit more aggressive as we do see a fight here between Star Wars Esports and R8. R8 going to have the big ground advantage. They are going to have 2 players knocked from Star Wars Esports. We've seen what Pika and Top can do. Action coming in, being able to cause some damage. Can Pika get the angle? He's not able to. He's going to be able to get a knock. And guess what? Bigatron is trying to third-party all of this, and they are going to end up third-partying all of that.
I cannot believe it.
Bigatron, 6 eliminations. They eliminate R8, and on top of that, they eliminate Star Wars Esports. That is going to be huge for Bigatron, trying to get the most teams eliminated.
Yeah, that is crazy. I did not expect and see that happening in that case for sure. Now, Alpha 7 has not spotted Fluke. Vampire Esports, 2 players left. Sreps and Fluke here is completely disengaged from each other. Fluke might as well just try to sneak in behind Alpha 7 and could surprise them, especially now that he knows it's them. If he can damage them, then it would be good, but they are right now fighting head-to-head. Alpha 7, 12 points ahead. Let's see the replay here with Misery. The guys from Bigatron completely annihilating both Stalwart and R8 in that case. That's insane. All right, so here Fluke, really, really clever place in this case. He's going to sweep the other direction that Alpha 7 does. He might have an idea that it is Alpha 7. They have lost Mafioso, and they're down to 3 players.
They have it. I think Fluke has played that perfectly because now he's going to be able to make his way towards the circle and not have to worry about getting into a fight outside of the zone. You see Nick McGalaxy would know, Lord, if somebody gets close to him, we know the type of nades that he's able to throw. I'm kind of actually looking forward to it. And here we have an airdrop. If I'm not mistaken, that might be the first airdrop. That's going to be a match reward if any of the Nick McGalaxy players are going to be able to collect. And as I said, that Lord is going to go for it. That's going to be the if that was the first airdrop, that's going to be the easiest 1K of his life right there.
For sure. Circle closing in, and let's see the next one. It could go to Al Halaba, and we could see potentially an urban ending, but I'm seeing a high ground ending or close to SGG potentially, or Nick McGalaxy in that case. That would be pretty cool as well. We have some interesting buildings that we saw multiple fights. We're actually going to go northwest in this case, so it's good for Bigatron, which are going to be fighting Alpha 7 eventually with that. And Bigatron actually has that high ground that we see on screen right now, fighting SGG a little bit, poking at each other. Bigatron is definitely going to be holding Alpha 7 out. We see some shots already. Karelia going really low. And now he has to heal. Liquid kind of close already.
Liquid
That's a sticky
super,
bomb.
super close, actually.
Sticky bomb thrown by Liquid to maybe to try to deny that. See Genfont on the low ground, potentially pushing in there, Seven. What do you think is going to happen here in this case? Is Bigatron going to aggress on them, or is Alpha 7 going to play a little bit more passive in this case?
With the way Bigatron has been playing, I think they are going to be trying to be a little bit more aggressive. They need to be careful, though, because Revo is going to be holding off this angle. It's going to come down to who gets that
So
first
much
knock.
information he gets from that stone and that rock position there. That's really crazy.
Yep, and then on top of that, with this fight, you got to keep an eye out for Vampire Esports, because if for some reason the other two Bigatron players decide to push towards where the fight is going to be with Alpha 7, Vampire Esports might actually have a great angle from those buildings to kind of third party and get some easy points for themselves.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Alpha 7 decided to back off, though. They were like, you know what, let's not take this fight. They're currently going to have the upper hand on every way.
They have to move now as well, right? Because Circle is closing. They're going to have to sweep on that northern side, try to get in on that high ground angle that Bigatron is currently holding right now. So I really like that play from them. The question is, are they going to have enough time to do it? And does Bigatron spot them going into that valley that they currently have two players on either side of? So that's really interesting to follow later on. Enigma Galaxy here on screen. They're holding one of the high ground big compounds that we saw. Currently inside the circle. Bigatron there in the distance. Shots are coming in. I see Bigatron's players sucks in Misery taking a little bit of damage. Alpha 7 is going to lose one to Genfos. Genfos saw that push coming. It's kind of the only push they could do in that case. And now Carillo gone down. 7 eliminations already. They defeated 7. That's crazy to see already in this stage of the game. Revo's going to try to hold out a little bit now. Misery on the high ground still.
Yeah, and I think Bigatron is just going to set themselves up now just to gatekeep this. And this is going to be huge for Vampire Esports because they're already in the zone. They're not going to have to worry about rotating anytime soon. And they're going to be hoping that Bigatron is just able to fully flush out Alpha 7. Alpha 7, I'm surprised they weren't a little bit more careful. I think they were just so focused thinking that, hey, I think Bigatron has already decided to rotate as well. He ended up backfiring. Guess what? S2G getting 2 knocks on Enigma Galaxy. And we've seen what S2G can do as well. They're going to be super aggressive. Here comes the push. Can they get there before both of the revives go in? Are they going to have enough time, Enigma Galaxy, to actually heal up? Great Molotovs right there from Hamsi.
Let's see the push. What's going to happen? Freak trying to deny this push here from S2G. Really good amount of utility used in this case here. Silas trying to silent move around this corner. He's going to be able to Saiga in hand and force swap back to Saiga. Lord trying to defend. Oh, that's a good shot.
Silas.
Pushes Freak now. Oh my god, great push from Silas here. Super well executed by S2G. And that's another elimination for them. Revo sitting in blue. He's going to try to have to survive for as long as possible. Bigatron still holding on. And Bigatron is now the only team with 4 players left alive. This could be the game with this Western shift we just had for them. This could be the first game that they're potentially going to be able to win here at the Afterparty Showdown here at PMWI.
Yeah, they're going to be looking forward to. You can see this is actually going to benefit a little bit more because now Bigatron is deciding to push off from where Alpha 7 was. Revo might actually have enough time to just make that rotation into the circle. It comes down to how many heals does he have, as he is the last player for Alpha 7. What it looked like at some point, it was going to be a great game for Alpha 7 with Vampire Esports losing 2 players at the start. It has now completely backfired, and even though Bigatron has rotated a little bit from where they were, they can still see that line of sight straight where Alpha 7 is going to need to rotate.
And the interesting part is, that right now Vampire is not going to have an amazing game.
Yep.
But Alpha 7 was 12 points ahead. So if they just have a little bit of a better game, our last 2 games are going to be so tight. It potentially could come down to some of the last fights in the last game to see who's going to be the winner of the Afterparty Showdown.
I'm going to be looking for all of that, and I'm more than likely going to end up losing my voice. I'm really looking forward to that we have a very, very close. And, I mean, that's that's just the fights for first place and second place. If Bigatron has a great game here, they're gonna be pushing from 5th place also to 3rd place and trying to fight Team Falcons and Star Wars Esports. So we can see a lot of changes here on the leaderboard. And as we're talking about changes on the leaderboard, guess what? Them one Kia currently having Sung, one of the players, out healing. S2G keeping an eye on it, and this is what happens when you're in Karrakin. If you don't make early rotations, you're gonna get caught off guard. But can they connect on this? Fluke actually being able to connect with that, the M4, and I think he's going to be able to get that elimination as well.
No way. No way. That is an insane spray down from that distance. Fluke from Vampire Esports coming out of Thailand to show us how they are playing. So dominant they've been so far. It's crazy how mechanically gifted these guys are. MC trying to defend this push potentially from Damwon-Kia. We have Song pinned out in the blue right now, but the other guys obviously want to push this angle so they can get him back.
Yeah.
Oh, they're trying to crawl up silently. Oh, that's a shot. That is not good.
They just pulled the Jason Kaplan. They accidentally shot right there.
DPS in hand,
for
though. DPS in hand. What?
Oh!
Counter with the Saiga. DNBR. What's going to happen? He's trying to pre-fire the corner. The jump. Oh, more shots. 4 more left. He's going to find him. Oh, my God. That is perfect. Super important clutch for Damwon-Kia in this case here. And they can push in and take that high ground.
MC tried to get a little bit too much flare there. I think he was trying to go for the jump shotgun shot. It didn't end up working out. Damwon-Kia, now as you mentioned, soon is going to be able to make that push towards this circle. And guess what? Bigatron, with the 4 players that they currently have, are going to be able to be the only team inside the new circle. Vampire Esports making the rotation, and this is why I've been so impressed. We've been talking about it in the back room when we've been watching these games from Vampire Esports. That composure that team has is just absolutely great. Revo actually taking on some shots here to Liquid. And he's going to be able to get the knock. He's going to have to get off that heal off very fast, and I think he might be able to convert this elimination, or at least an extra point for his team. That's going to be great for Alpha 7, at least saving a little bit of points. And honestly, that elimination right there, that extra point, could make the difference if you're going to be the champion or not.
And also, they've survived so far for this long. 4th place now guaranteed for them. That's 4 points from placement, plus the eliminations they've gotten as well. Guaranteed 6 points at this 6 points total. At this point, is going to be very important for them. Smokes are coming out. He could swing up on that, and this is going to delay Bigatron for a long time, and that could actually give the upper hand to Damwon-Kia in this case. 2 eliminations and 4th place guarantees. Bigatron have to delay this. They're going to prioritize going into the circle, I think. You can see them moving there in the distance. 2 more first hits only for Revo, and he has to use the bandages to try to heal up back now, right now. And next circle's going to pop. It's going to do even more damage. He's going to be forced to be using the first hits. Schweppes and Fluke still alive and doing well, but the circle has gone west, as you saw there on the top right minimap. With Bigatron, 3 guys alive, it's looking really good. Revo's going to be found by Genfos. Pops out, finds Genfos. That is crazy. Plus, he put a little bit of damage towards him. The question is, are we going to see an elimination more going their way? Or is this going to be the opening that Vampire or potentially Damwon-Kia needed?
Yeah, and that's exactly the opening that Vampire Esports, you can see as soon as that knock went down, they started to move up, and they started to position themselves a little bit better here for the fight that's going to happen with Damwon-Kia. Damwon-Kia still has 3 players. Come down if Fluke can use this cover that he has to at least get a knock, being able to connect with some shots. He is going to be able to knock one of the players there from Damwon-Kia. Does he have any extra utilities that he can throw? He's not going to have any. Can he get any other knock? You can see the other Vampire Esports player is just going to be laying down. He's going to be able to see somebody there from Junie. Junie, he also is able to knock Junie. Can he also knock soon? Here comes the 1v1. He's not going to be able to, but at least he was able to knock 2 players there from them. Yeah, this is going to be huge for Bigatron. Bigatron is going to end up pushing the action here, and it's going to be looking like a Bigatron win.
Yeah, Bigatron with 9 eliminations so far. 2 more to potentially to be picked up. But I think Song is just going to deny this case here. That he doesn't want to give up the points for this situation. So it could be the very first Bigatron Red Aliens win here for the PMWI Afterparty Showdown. That is great. Good to see here for these guys to redeem themselves. And obviously they've had somewhat of a rough run, but now, as you were talking about, they could be pushing themselves up to 3rd place, Seven.
Yeah, they definitely had a super rough run. I think from the chance that I got to talk with Suxy earlier today, he was telling me that they've been getting very unlucky with certain rotations that they've been having to do. Also, they haven't really been blessed by the circles as much as some of the other teams have been blessed. Good to see that they're able to get the win. And as I was saying, yes, we're talking about Vampire Esports. We're talking about Alpha 7 fighting for that 1-2. But, I mean, I think Bigatron might be pushing for the 3rd place.
Yeah, for sure, and we're going to see more about that once we go to the match standing, sponsored by STC and presented by our fantastic desk with our failed captain, Jason Kaplan.
Thank you, Russian Arnold Schwarzenegger. Bigatron Red Aliens, 19 points for themselves. Finally, as you said, getting themselves a victory. The question is it coming too late? First place is going to be out of their reach. However, some extra money could be going their way as they over double, I believe, their earnings in that last match alone. Damwon Kia coming in big, though, with 9 points, and Vampire Esports with 8. Keep in mind, there's a 2-point difference between Vampire and Alpha 7, so not going to quite claw away at that lead, but at least making it a little bit closer.
Yeah, just making it closer. I'm telling you, it's going to be down to that last game between Vampire Esports and Alpha 7 on Miramar is going to be exactly happening that way. I believe, at least we'll have to see. But, I mean, BTR, I was a little bit scared that game, James, because we were seeing them have this massive split for the longest time. Like, if a team decides to crash on one of their locations, it could get a little bit dicey. But luckily enough, at the end, they regroup, they get the win.
Yeah, pretty steady pace for them to approach the circle and hold down many of the angles. I think they also benefited from the fact that a lot of the teams coming in from the east as well as the west side from them came in pretty wounded again, like kind of 2 members of each squad as they kind of was the bleed off. And of course, in this game, there was a massive cluster of teams fighting out from the very word go in the northeast, which makes it even easier to move through Karakin here.
Yeah, making it easier to move through Karakin, but again, obviously as we do progress through, we're going back to a little bit of normality here for the teams. We have Sandhawk and Miramar to come up next, so none of the newer maps going to be coming in. Sandhawk's going to be quite interesting as well because we did have Vampire win the last 2 matches of yesterday, but we've seen Alpha 7 be extremely strong as well in those maps in our prior days. But this was a nice little show at BTR. Again, I feel like every single global event we ever do, they always do have that like one pop-off game. They always at least get one chicken dinner throughout the event.
Yeah, I think we can expect that to happen in these last 2 games, potentially. We'll have to see. But in this game in particular, what we saw again, we're seeing the shotguns come into play. We saw some DBS, we saw some Saiga. I feel like this tournament's got a meta of its own with the shotguns, it seems. And
I feel like it's been one of my favorite developments in kind of current meta as it does stand, the fact that shotguns have become quite prevalent. I'm hoping that we see it more on the next stages. And next stages, of course, teams like Damwon Kia are always going to bring it into those big tournaments. But I think it could, continue to kind of roll through a lot of these teams to at least have 1 or 2 on your team.
Exactly, like there's no downside to having at least 1 or 2 on your
no.
side. And if you're fighting against an AR and you get in the right range, and you hit your shot, the shotgun wins like pretty much 100% of the time, if you hit the shots, of course.
Especially because in a loadout, in a full loadout, the M4 is so versatile. A lot of the teams will navigate back to the M4, right? And just have that for their close range, even the long range, 6x sprays, etc., and things like that. So having a shotgun is very nice for the close range.
Question comes, when or will it be potentially nerfed someday in the future? Once people see in competitive play, it starts to work extremely well, at least at this level of play, because there's a lot of close proximity fights.
Yeah. In normal play, it leaves you a little bit vulnerable sometimes, right? Like you're not as quite as well adapted, and adept as these pro players. So obviously they know exactly when to be switching out. If you've got a shotgun and you're running through certain areas and stuff like that, you are vulnerable to still kind of those mid-range weapons that are going to vastly out-superior the position of those shotguns. So
yeah, I mean, I play the M4. If they nerf it, and I already struggle to hit my shots right now, it's going to be even worse. So I just leave it like that. It's fine.
Arguably the best gun, the M4. So
I mean, at our level, as you're saying, it's a... I mean, some of us could use it. I mean, 7, he could probably use it pretty well. The rest of us are just like, we can't hit the broadside of a barn with a shotgun. Let's take a look, though, at our overalls here so far in the event. Actually, to be fair, Kalaris definitely could if you've seen him play.
Thank you.
I'll give you the credit. We already know what Max Fen can do when it came to PMCOs, but Alpha 7, 10 points in the lead, though, with 2 matches left. Very possible here for Vampire Esports to take over the lead, but Alpha 7, I'm not really taking the lead in first place. They've also taken the money lead.
But what a huge jump for Bigatron Red Aliens, right? I mean,
Huge.
Of course, they were in a position where they didn't have much money, didn't really have a win on the board, but still had quite a lot of points. This has rocketed them up on Karakin of all maps to be able to have this big jump up. Very impressive.
Yeah, exactly. Even though we know it's still like a competition between only Vampire and Alpha 7 for the trophy this time around, it is still pretty decent prize pool in 3rd place, right? So BTR definitely a big step up, and it's good to see Indonesia potentially able to get himself on the podium at the end.
Yeah, honestly, I think for the region as well, we think back to Morph, right? Last week in the main event, didn't fare too well, unfortunately. Obviously, Indonesia is a massive supporter of BTR, and they have a lot of pressure. I think, to be honest, almost out of any region in the world except maybe China, I think Indonesia has the most pressure when it comes to their teams to perform. When you do well, they love you. When you don't do well, they don't love you quite as much.
And especially Nunda, you're going to have the finals of PMGC in Indonesia too. That's going to be an extra layer of pressure, right? So that's if BTR make it there, I mean, I'm telling you, the fans are going to go wild.
Or the
so
fifth
many
man.
good teams. All right.
I was going to go in a shot just because you couldn't see it. We can see, though, a minute 30 left to go until we do head into Sandhawk. Now, I haven't done predictions with you gentlemen just yet, but I want to ask the predictions now here. Maybe not in the last match. Who do you have taking Sandhawk?
For this game, I'd like to see S2G. No, they dominate when it comes to Paradise versus RA. I want to see them come back in this third day, so S2G. There you go.
The Boot Camp Boys. Star Wars. Let's do it.
Oh.
There's no team called the Boot Camp Boys, Max.
I was like, wait a minute. No.
There could be. Maybe that's what we can rename our group to instead of what we currently are named.
No, Soccer Crowd is the best.
Yeah, definitely. Big shout out here to Savvy Gaming Group for being one of the big sponsors here at this event. Again, without them, this would not all be possible. Also, for you guys at home, whether you can't, well, obviously you can't win the money here, but you can get a free permanent legendary set during the Vibe and Drive event currently going on within PUBG Mobile. Make sure you get your friends together, complete the missions, and collect your rewards. And my reward for having a fantastic desk segment here is to be able to listen to our two commentators, the Seven Worlds Gaming and Avenger.
Oh, that's so nice. I can't wait to carry you later on today with PUBG Mobile when we end up playing. But we are going to be casting Sandhawk. And you know what? The desk was talking about predictions, Avenger. And I'm going to ask you for your prediction, but not for who's going to be winning or who's going to be doing well. I'm going to be talking about just the points at the top, first place and second place. Do you think the gap is going to be less than 10 points after this match?
So simple yes or no question. That's the kind of predictions I like. The 50-50% chance, the coin flip, the type of prediction I do the best at. I think that we're going to see Vampire close the gap and have less than 10 points up to Alpha 7 in this game. That'd be nice, because in that way, we would have a really, really, really close last game. That'd be crazy. Obviously, on Sandhawk for the second to last, or as James loved to say, the penultimate game of the day. It's Sandhawk here at PMWI Afterparty Showdown. Let's see what this brings. It's your favorite map. You love it.
It is. I'm glad I've been able to cast this map many, many times, especially over PMWI. And I was going to say, I think Alpha 7 is still going to be leading, but I think they're only going to be leading by 7 points. So I am going to
I
think it's going to be less
Alpha
than
7,
10 points.
7 predictions. Yeah, that would be crazy. Your favorite number is obviously also 7.
Yeah.
What else is 7? You have 7 kids too, and what all? 7 ex-wives?
Working my way up there in kids, not about the ex-wives though.
the kids you're working your way up there. Revo 34 eliminations now after being able to close a few ones out on Karakin. Kirillio 26 and Shrebs really closely knitted after on 25. Damage as well, nearly 1,000 damage more than Action from Stalwart. Quite impressive to see Action up there. He's obviously one of the top dogs. And Mythic with 7 headshots. You like that?
Yeah, I mean, Rebel 2, 5, and then Silas from S2G. And we're actually already having a fight that we've been seeing over and over again here in Paradise. S2G, they love landing here. Are they going to be able to back off RA? And is any of these teams going to end up losing one of their players? And I was going to say, I'm with you. It's so surprising to see Action from Star Wars Esports there at the top, at least within the top 3 of the damage, because Star Wars Esports, to me at least, has been a little bit disappointing. I was really hoping that that would be one team that was going to be fighting for at least first place.
Look at this movement.
It hasn't worked. Yeah.
Working really well right now for S2G. They could be wrapping up and have that high ground on this roof. That would be really good. Of course, thanks to Sony Xperia for sponsoring here and being our official smartphone sponsor for the PMWI and Gamers 8.
And for everybody watching, don't forget to watch PMWI together in-game esports center with your friends to win PMWI special sets. As we do see the fight ensuing here, Team Falcons is going to be going after them. Don't forget the PMWI packages are on sale for a limited time, and you can also win PMWI treasure crates if you play PUBG Mobile during PMWI. Suxy currently on the defense, backing up big time. Liquid actually being able to get a little bit of an angle there on one of the players from Team Falcons. And guess what? The team that is currently in last place in regards to points, 7 Seas, adds another match reward to their tally. I think it was somewhere around 30K. Oh, yeah, you can see it right here. 30K after this match with that, if they don't end up getting any more. 32K. You kind of start questioning yourself. Do you really mind being in last place?
If you're winning some of the most money?
Yeah, when you actually have more money than the teams that are above you.
Yeah, all right, look at this. The 10 points difference for Alpha 7 down to Vampire is crucial, but Bigotron on 114 all the way down to 103 points on S2G. That is 5 teams within 11 points. Our middle pack is fighting for a huge chunk of change, and the difference there is $10,000, $20,000 difference if you're able to fight your way further up there. So really good for, look at this, Aladdin taking down Juni with a surprise attack. Damonkia losing one player early on. That's, of course, unfortunate. But good again for 7C being able to take some of those early eliminations.
7C is just being sneaky like they have been throughout this whole tournament, whether it's the duos, whether it's this kind of matches. It does not matter. They're going to continue to be sneaky. And I said it earlier, I kind of want to see more aggression out of this team. They have shown us some great, amazing plays, some individual skills. And they just haven't showed it. But guess what? Individual skills, Ida from R8 being able to get 2 knocks right there. That's going to be an extra 2 points for R8 Esports. And Rad is not going to be, it's not looking good for Rod so far, at least here at the start of Sandhawk. And as we're seeing some rotations in the map, I'm actually starting to see Bigatron get a little bit closer to Bootcamp, getting way too close to Star Wars Esports. I wonder if they're going to want to engage. I know sometimes with this kind of players from Bigatron too, they're going to be able to carry some momentum. They're going to be feeling hype after that last match, especially after getting a win. They might want to continue on getting into fights and seeing if they can actually win them and continue to boost their confidence. Really intrigued to see if that's going to happen. Damwon Kia does have some players that are trying to third party. They heard those shots from Ida, from R8 Esports. I think Forrest not able to spot anybody right away, so he's going to do the right thing and just back off.
Yeah, clever play. Coherent play style in that case. R8 Esports on screen. 1 elimination so far for them. They have had a decent showing so far, but still not in our middle pack within that striking distance of that top 3 place right now. 12 teams still remaining. Damonkia lost 1. Rad. Oh, Forrest finds ID7 and goes down 2.
What a great rotation right there from Forrest. I thought he was going to be backing off. He decided to just actually re-angle himself, being able to find the perfect angle, getting some shots there on that team. What a play. And guess what? S2G trying to third party some of the R8 players there. You can see CR7 as well. R8 not looking in a good spot. They are currently only going to have 1 player alive. CR7 trying to get some shots there, I believe, is on Kalsi. Didn't cost enough damage, and now what is CR7 going to be able to do? He does throw down some mollies. I think that was from S2G. S2G is starting to get some of the angles. That is going to be it for R8 Esports. And guess what? S2G does get the first team elimination and $5,000.
That is good. I like that. The first team is just so insane. We're pouring money over these teams here, and we're loving seeing their efforts to try to go even further. Money in the bank is what these guys are here for. Let's see what these guys can do, though. Bigatron, as you see right now, on Bootcamp. The question is, where are we going to be ending up? We do have a far northwestern circle, and there's a chance that we might ending up on the Alpha Island. And right now, Vampire has a really good hold on to that island, so we could be seeing them closing that 10-point gap as we were talking about. Stalwart on screen. I was impressed with how good they were, especially at the main tournament, and also been impressed with their entrance. I really like Stalwart's entrance. That was really nice, starting with their backs to the camera. And now we saw, I think it was Sarang before we saw that, get the first airdrop. Kaito is in this compound. I think he's alone trying to defend it. Desha might be further down. Damonkia is aggressing.
Kaito gonna just be cooking up that grenade. Can he actually confirm on this? Any types of knocks? He is gonna be able to cause some damage though. But now more than likely Damwon Kia is gonna realize where he's at. And yep, Desha is just a little bit of the south of him on a different building.
I think they have covered each other. Like there's some like line of sights that they could be taking advantage of. Yeah, so if they push from that southern side in the compound that Damwon Kia currently has, then they have kind of a cross angle on each other. Next circle has popped, and it's looking very likely that we could be ending up on Camp Alpha. And Vampire has that high ground ruin on the top, and that could be crucial for a win or a lot of points in this game. Dead Eyes guys, southwest, Enigma Galaxy outside in the blue, and Alpha 7 on a huge rotation coming in from the northeast. Now Kaito trying to defend this, taking some more damage. He's taking actually quite low, nearly, even further low. He's going to go down actually. Super unfortunate for
Star Wars Esports? Are they the ones that currently third party in this?
I think it's multiple angles. It's both Stalwart but also S2G that is doing this, but definitely Stalwart is just on screen in that case. Desha is going to disengage from the fight completely, just try to run away, but he could be running straight towards the SG guys.
Somehow being able to survive on that. But yeah, it's straight running into the SG guys. The SG guys not being able to confirm, and Desha just barely. No, just get in there. What are you doing?
Hide. Run.
I was going to mention, though, if Damwon took too long within this fight, SCG was going to be able to third party, and that's exactly what they're looking to do. And a team that I was not expecting to even get close to third party, Star Wars Esports, definitely slowed down a lot more what Damwon was trying to do. And Damwon, you can see, being aware now of the possible third party from Star Wars Esports, putting down some of that smoke, trying to cover their 6 and seeing what S2G and possibly the last player standing from Rod are going to end up doing.
Desha just passively playing this one out. He's on the wrong side of that bridge, though, if it goes west. C has a lot of information on Damwon right now. Oh! Peekaboo finds one. Can he get first down 2? Gets first down to half HP. Sung first. Last 2 players from Damwon gets taken down by Colsey on an off angle. Super well played and executed by S2G. It's just down to Sung in this case. He's going to have to try to use some utility. They don't really know exactly where he is right now. As you can see, the utility is being used somewhere else. Sung with the third-party peek in this case. Could potentially surprise 1 or 2 of the guys from S2G, but it definitely looks like they're going to be taking this compound over completely.
And Sun now keeping an eye here on where Silas is going to be going. Hamsey is able to knock some doors. He is going to realize where the last player from Damwon is going to be. The DBS. Can he end up connecting? He is actually end up getting knocked and soon clutch up here and end up knocking another of the players. Surprisingly that he actually doesn't have any DBS by himself. He is going to continue to make the push here for Ray C. I think Star Wars Esports is still helping out in this fight, trying to cause some mayhem themselves by third party from very far away. Ray C with the DBS very close. He's going to lay down some Molotovs and try to control where Sung is going to end up going from Damwon Kia. Meanwhile, they're going to be able to slow it down a little bit, heal, and figure out what their next move is going to be. And if I'm S2G, yeah, that's exactly right. Just back off a little bit, see if you can maybe pick up your players and reset.
Definitely want to try to convert this one here. Shots are coming in on Sung again. Sung taking half HP again. He has to heal constantly. Soon we're going to be seeing a circle pop in 30 seconds or so, or even earlier. So I'm going to use some utility. Nade into that corner could be great. Could be hitting 1 or 2 of the players from S2G. That's a great nade. It's going to take potentially 1 down. No, it is not. It's going to bounce in and stay inside rather than go out the door that he was hoping for. That could have taken both of them down if it actually bounced out the door. Molotov used as well. He's limiting some movement for S2G. They cannot just run into this house. In this case, QB set in hand.
Luckily for him, they aren't going to have to rotate anytime soon. They are still within that circle. But if they do, whichever team ends up surviving this, they better watch out because all those other teams that are on the other island are going to be waiting. Now you can see SCG trying to make that push again. Are they going to be, can the Damwon Kia player, Sung, can he hold them off? The DBS is going to be coming out again. And there you go, Racy able to get the finish on Damwon Kia. But Star Wars Esports making sure that they let their presence be known as they do end up knocking Racy.
Colsey just in the distance trying to hold an off angle, some information. Maybe it's because they know that Desha is still there, that they're trying to hold him out. Enigma Galaxy in the blue still. I'm expecting a heal situation. I see 8 first aids in this case. Definitely expecting that to be happening. Let's see how many they get. And a 3 backpack as well. He could be dropping bullets. He could be dropping other utility. Just give him 25 first and let's see how long he can survive for that case. Now, Vampire here, we'll talk about the high ground, is actually not going to come into that hard of an effect in this case here, because you can see as on the top right, the blue zone has moved north and has a lot of the river inside, and the bridge is still inside with her tin too. Stalwart actually sitting in this center compound with Bigtron lurking on that south side.
S2G starting to make a push here on the last player from Rod. They have already eliminated Damwon Kia. This is going to be feel real good if they're able to eliminate the last player from Rod, and they're going to do so right there.
Nice.
And it's Alpha 7 now starting to third-party fights from S2G. So many third parties going on. I'm kind of enjoying the split currently that Alpha 7 is going to be doing. But I feel like if the circle does end up going to the West Island, it's going to be a super hard rotation for Alpha 7. especially if Vampire Esports is somehow able to realign themselves, where you can actually see where the bridge, where people are going to be rotating. On top of that, you're going to have 7Cs, Star Wars Esports, and what is Bigatron going to end up doing?
You know what I would love to see? An actual bridge ending where everyone is just forced to be fighting on the bridge for the control. That would be crazy to see. I don't see it happening. It's kind of rare that we have those endings, but still it would be an absolute pleasure to see. Potentially, if Bigatron is able to fight and get to be one of the last teams and then fight, there would be Alpha 7 versus Bigatron fighting for that bridge control there, and then that would be crazy. But let's see what happens here. S2G, those 7 eliminations so far, the vast majority of the eliminations in the game so far. Actually, they have half of all the eliminations so far in this game here. That's kind of crazy to see. 48 total players. 34 only remaining.
Carrillo getting spotted there by the S2G players, making the back off a little bit. They know that Alpha 7 is currently lurking. Circle is starting to close in. Where will this circle go? Is it going to be a super toxic one? Bridge. I'm actually thinking about the little island right there. Okay, I know that's
okay. That's crazy.
If you're thinking bridge is toxic, yeah, my toxic trait is going to definitely come out and think the little island. Please, let's see what kind of mayhem these teams are going to be able to cause. And look at the longest Ilum. 397.
Oh, bridge! I can't believe it, bro. That is insane. Holy, okay. So the question is really now, how many teams are going to be fighting on that west side? Because that is where the vast majority is right now. Alpha 7 is just going to be trying to get as many eliminations they can on that east side of the bridge. We have so many of the teams still in the west. Could Bigatron consider going back right now, actually going back to the bootcamp side and trying to swing in behind S2G? I would really love seeing that. Vampire are going to be focusing on trying to get some of those eliminations that they know are coming in from the blue right now on that western side. See still Deadeye Skies, 4 players from Deadeye Skies currently trying to get in, and Vampire is going to be trying to check for that.
I'm actually hoping Bigatron decides to full send it to Star Wars Esports. That's going to be in front of them. I'm hoping they don't decide to go for that sweep that you were talking about. I think it's going to leave them exposed way too much, especially with SCG having the high ground there. And we already seen what Star Wars Esports can do from that range. So I'm just hoping Bigatron fully sends it to where Star Wars Esports is. And hopefully they do it soon, because if Vampire Esports is able to position themselves here, I mean, they might end up getting some angles for that team. And Deadeyes is also going to start sneaking up. So if they are going to make a push, if they are going to make a decision, it needs to happen soon. As we do see here, Nigma Lore currently getting some shots out. And guess what? You were talking about it earlier. That man has 27 medkits. So I think he's going to definitely be going for that heal off. Meanwhile, we're having a fight there between Team Falcons and 7Cs. 7Cs hasn't really had to rotate at all. Falcons has, as they were in the, I believe they were in the southeast for a very, very long time. So I'm surprised they're currently here in Hattin. 7Cs though, trying to figure out what Team Falcons is going to be doing. They are going to be able to get this revive just in time, and 7Cs is actually going to become a little bit more aggressive, trying to figure out where the Team Falcon players, Never Alone, and the player that's currently knocked are currently at.
7C still trying to just get inside Hattin's edge here. Maybe potentially try to control it from Falcons. They must have an idea at this point where they're going to be moving, and that's really the question, is how they're going to try to do that. It's a 2-2 split for them, or a 2-1 split for them right now.
Vampire Esports, there you go, going with the position that I was talking about. Vampire Esports might actually be able to pick up a lot of Ilums from that position, especially if Bigatron is definitely now going to have to push the Star Wars Esports. Interesting, though. Genfos is making a bit of a rotation in trying to get behind Vampire Esports. If this ends up working out, he might be able to surprise him, but he needs to watch out for Schwab from Vampire Esports, because he is covering that angle. All right, let's see. You think West? I'm going to think East.
I hope West.
West, okay.
For the sake of the last game being absolutely insane, I really hope West. Because if it goes East, Alpha 7 could close this game out and secure themselves. Really, look at that. They could secure themselves a huge game. But now they're going to have to cross the bridge. I don't see them swimming. Like, there's too many teams close to the water. So I would really like to see them fight for that bridge control over S2G. Because also, it is kind of a high ground situation for them now that Vampire doesn't have the really high ground now, with the circle being pushing them off now. 11 more first aids already using a lot, so it's really taking hard here compared to what we used to. Suxy, last player, gonna try to get Misery up right now.
Only
Ooh,
knocking. This is what I was
shots.
talking about. Oh, Bigatron just took way too long to make that rotation, allow Vampire to position themselves, and on top of that, Deadeyes making their way up just way too much. They should have made that push a little bit earlier there to Star Wars Esports before the other teams were able to position themselves. And now, the big question mark here is how is Vampire Esports going to end up rotating from this height advantage that they have, considering that Star Wars Esports is right next to them. And the longer they end up taking, Deadeyes is just going to start sneaking up on them. You can see Team Falcons currently set up. And I think Alpha 7 is going to go for a bit of a swim here. I love that they ended up setting up Mafioso there for a little bit of a distraction. So hopefully they don't hear the players swimming under. You can see Aladdin covering the bridge. And some of the other teams are currently just focused on all the 5. Vampire Esports, I was talking about how are they going to end up making that rotation.
No.
It doesn't end up working out. One of the players does end up getting knocked. Can Top get the other knock on Vampire Esports? They are. Vampire Esports ends up losing 3 players on that rotation, and it was just such a tough rotation. And guess what? While all of that was happening, Alpha 7 does end up losing some players as well.
Yeah, that's kind of important for our last match to be really close here. If Alpha 7 end up being the winner of this game, it would be rough. Ravenclaw trying to survive a little bit. Shots are coming out towards him already. That is not good. Hit's going to hit the ground and go out. Alpha 7's going to be happy for that, but they have their own problems right now. Vampire going out in 8th place by Team Falcons. Impressive to see. Now Star Wars is going to be pushing into this circle here and try to take control of that bridge. As
this
G go down.
This circle is going to definitely benefit Alpha 7 as they're going to have the control of that bottom bridge. And then you have SG now pushing up. Aladdin from 7Cs holding it back too. They currently still have all of their 4 players alive. And somehow Nigma Lore slowly but surely making their way up as well with Deadeyes. Alpha 7 Mythic is going to end up getting knocked. Rebel being able to pick up Carrillo. Here comes the push from Star Wars Esports. This is going to be huge. 7C is actually being able to spot there the push from Star Wars Esports, and they're going to be able to stop it. Enigma Galaxy actually being able to stop that push, as well as S2G. This is such a huge benefit right now for Alpha 7, being able to reset themselves, recover the players that were knocked, trying to figure out what they're going to do if the circle does end up moving not in their favor.
Look at that.
The AWM coming out.
Big boy gun right there. Ray's gone down. 7C's going to have an elimination. They are looking really strong right now in this case and from this angle, coming in from the north. A lot of control. 4 players alive as the only team. S2G, though, they go out and they have 10 points total. That's going to be important for them. Neighbor Galaxy, 3 players alive. Alpha 7, 3 players alive. And Falcons. Ooh, that's good shots here from Sprayguard. Could connect onto Revo. Does not get him down, though. Hamodi does get Carrillo down. And Alpha 7 is a world of trouble in this case here. They have only also gotten 1 elimination so far, and the blue zone is pushing them 7.
Rio getting knocked there. Enigma Galaxy is going to spot one of the players there. Aladdin from 7Cs. And guess what? Raouf is going to continue to make this push. Is he going to be able to convert? Oh, Revo misses the shots there with the DPS. And somehow Enigma Galaxy doesn't want to take a fight with bullets. They actually want to take a fight with all of this utility. They're going to go for the special eliminations. Can they actually confirm on this special elimination?
Good nades.
Being able to knock
Mythic.
the players. Mythic somehow being able to survive, and he ends up getting eliminated. Now, Enigma Galaxy continuing to make their push through. 7Cs trying to defend this, trying to actually recover Aladdin that's currently knocked, and somehow Enigma Galaxy still has utilities after all of that.
That is crazy. The fight now is going to be between Enigma Galaxy and 7C Esports. Can Enigma Galaxy make a huge clutch in this moment here? They're getting 1 player down right now. Ooh, Spray got jumped down in perfect timing. So Rang is going to deny that push under the bridge. So it's going to be forced to be a fight across the bridge. And they're going to be having to... Oh, that's a really good Molotov. Raouf standing in it. He's on fire. He's going to be going down to that. Potentially, Hamadi finds 1, though. They have to turn this around now. Really good nade. Takes Raouf down. Spray guard on point with the utility.
Something that we're not keeping an eye on here. Yes, this fight's currently going on, but guess what? There is still 1 player alive from Enigma Galaxy, and if Lori can somehow find an angle and connect some shots with the players there from 7Cs before they start going down, that could be a huge difference. You can see him right there. He's currently setting himself up. Can he convert on some knocks? It is going to be 3 players. It's going to be super hard, but ultimately 7Cs, guess what? The team on last place, coming up and continuing to add up that tally in regards to match rewards, adding another 10K to their tally. I know that's going to feel good for them. And interesting for 7Cs, they actually went back to the original roster. I didn't think I see Scout OP right there, so wonder if they were actually just wanted to use them yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. And crazy game here in Sanak. We were hoping for the bridge. We ended up ending just west of it and became complete mayhem. But unfortunately,